Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake. I'm the chair of the board for this year. I'd like to start off first by doing introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner John Hutchings. To his right is Labanita Beaumar, clerk of the board. To her right is County Manager Ramiro Chavez. And to his right is Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Scott Cushings. With that in mind, I'll ask Commissioner Hutchings to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And I'd like to invite the former Commissioner, the Honorable Kevin O'Sullivan, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, with that in mind, is there approval to approve the today's agenda?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Tuesday, September 12, 2017 agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the Tuesday, September 12, 2017 agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. And board meeting minutes for August 29, 2017. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the board meeting minutes from August 29, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the board meeting minutes from August 29, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries as well. So we have no presentations for today or any kind of public interaction, so we're going to go straight to the opportunity for the public to address the board. And here's how that kind of works nowadays. So you see up here on my left, your right, the clock, it counts down from 3 minutes to 0. And when you get to the 0, it's going to have this kind of white microwave sound that goes, and you're done with your 3 minutes. However, if you're in mid-thought or you're trying to finish up something, I'll kind of be patient with you, let you finish that off, but I'll start asking you to kind of give it, bring it to closure. And so what I do is those who came in, first come, first serve, signed in, I go right down that list. However, if you walked in or you've changed your mind, you want to come to the podium and speak at some point in time, there's a amnesty opportunity to be able to come to there. I'll ask, open to the public to bring anybody forward. So with that in mind, I have Mr. Jack Grimes, who's the first person to come to the podium. And when you do come to the podium, just kind of state your name and where you're at from in the county in general. Mr. Grimes, come on up. Okay, sure. I will go with the no. Okay, how about Mark Thompson? Hi, sir. Come on up here. Just state where you're from in the county and who you are. Yeah.
Yes, Mark Thompson, and I'm on the Board of Commissioners for Fire Protection District Number 5, Black Lake, and I'm just speaking in support of the agenda number 9 today, which would be that you folks hopefully would move to approve the proposed merger of District 5 into Fire District number 9, which is McLean Fire District. And unless there's any questions, I'm just here to support that.
You bet. All righty. Any?
I think I'm on his side.
Okay, let's see what we got. Thank you so much for your words, Andrew.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir, very much. And also, I'm going to add your Deputy Prosecuting Attorney.
Oh, well, doggone. Okay. I apologize. I skipped over Mr. Bob Hastings. He's actually the first person, so we'll back up and come forward. How about that? Hello, Bob. How you doing there?
Just fine.
You got the floor, so go ahead.
First off, I'd like to thank you, fellows, for letting us come in here and talk to you. It's a good thing. People never have a chance, and to speak with their elected official, and this is a good opportunity for everybody. My name is Bob Hastings. I live in the Lawrence Lake area, and it's a community of probably 1,000, 1,500 people around the lake out there, and I'd like to speak to you briefly today about the cell tower that's been proposed. About 3 years ago, the community was advised by Verizon Wireless that they had decided to put in a cell tower in our general area, and we waited for about a year when they decided that the location would be just off the Vale Road near the, in fact, on Ronnie Smith's sheep farm. He had the highest elevation in the area, and it was a good location for it. It was to be located off the Vale Road about 100 feet into the forest area of pretty dense, tall fir trees, all of them about 100 feet tall, and the tower was going to be about 150 feet. And they raised a balloon up that high to show the community just what sort of, what it was going to look like at that height. And we waited for a while longer to hear from Verizon. And they held a hearing. It's called a determination of non-significance. And to make a long story short, it went through. There was no significant problems until there was opposition from the Deschutes Neighborhood Environmental Group. I think I got that right. They maintain that this was going to cause a drastic decline in our property values if a cell tower was installed. That is just totally bogus. We're actually behind the eight ball because we don't have a cell tower. They indicated there'd be an obstruction to the view of Mount Rainier. There's no homes around this. It's you would have to be at an elevation of 100 feet high in order to even have a line of sight of the cell tower and Mount Rainier. And they also indicated the RF radio signals emitted from the tower or the cell phone signals going to the tower was going to cause immense harm to the health of the community. That is an argument that has been argued since World War II and has never been proven. And the last thing, there is a flyway of birds that go from north to south in their migration route. They maintain that the birds are going to crash into the tower and kill themselves. And
That's the buzzer.
Okay,
Go ahead and finish up your thoughts. Yeah.
I have a letter here that I wrote. I could give it to your clerk and she
Sure.
can pass it out.
Yeah, let's do
And
that.
basically, they're having a hearing on March the 7th,
Okay,
and we would love to have the support of the commissioners.
okay. If you'll do me a favor and hand it to this gentleman right here on the far end. and
All
we'll
righty,
take care
I
of the
can
rest.
do that.
Yeah,
And thank you very much for 3 minutes go by pretty quick.
yeah, it does. Kind of like life, isn't it?
Except when you're doing budget.
Yeah, budget, it does.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Hastings.
You bet. Thank you.
So the next person I have on my list is Mr. Joe Barberera. La Barberera, I'm sorry, sir. Come on up. Just tell me who you are and where you're from.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen. Commissioner Edwards, Commissioner Hutchinson, Commissioner Blake. My name is Joe LaBarbera. I live out in the Vale region where I'm raising my family, building a small farm. I want to mention two items that are in the forefront of both myself and a lot of my neighbors' conversation recently. First is to thank the Commission for being strong on property rights, very important where I live. It's a sacred right protected by our Constitution, and it's one of the first ones to go in times of stress. This Commission's doing clearly all in its power to protect it, and on behalf of my family and friends, thank you very much. Second item I've been observing is the recent drama concerning a place called the Latin Cider Mill, and I believe this may turn into a property rights case. Now, it's not for me to rule on the situation or address the absurdity of charging an 85-year-old woman with assault that looks like she weighs about 90 pounds. But I think that there's some manipulation going on, and that's the opinion of me and a lot of friends of ours, and we'd like to mention that to you guys for your consideration. What I mean to make public is that my personal opinion is that this animal rescue group, this hoofed animal rescue group, has overreached its scope by making accusations in bad faith. I believe this group may be engineering a false or exaggerated case in order to bankrupt a business that they've long had anathema with. All over social media, one finds vitriolic commentary by members of this rescue group towards the 85-year-old Mrs. Latin, and if their love for animals is so prolific, why not help Miss Latin, an elderly lady trying to run her family farm practically on her own? It seems that we've observed a mysterious series of baiting with her in this group, which have caused agitation between her and the police, which has kind of set her up for trouble. What for, we ask, is this to circumvent due process of law and take their property? I don't know if this is going on. Just ask the commission to take a look at it. So if they bankrupt the Latin Cider Mill through legal fees, through fines, and this group ends up bankrupt, if they chase away the customer base by putting false reviews on Yelp to chase away potential customers, do they get to now buy the cider farm at a cheaper price? Do they get to now sell it to one of their friends? Do they get to now occupy it somehow? Those are the questions I'd want to know. Perhaps an 85-year-old woman could have used a helping hand instead of a hand that would slap handcuffs on her. Now, the state of Washington has a constraint for situations like this. It's a statute that calls for members of rescue groups to be assessed by their local court and given powers to do these kinds of enforcements. This is RCW 16.52.020, and it means that they may appoint society members to act as animal control officers. So this is trustee appointment. It's in writing. It's seen by a judge, and there's training done for it. If they're doing enforcement activities using various police connections that they have without this authorization, in my view, that's vigilantism. So I want to know if I can go do that thing too to people I don't like in the county. So I think that should be looked at. And if they do have this authority, then perhaps it should be looked at to see what training they've had and what judges or what courts have authorized them to go ahead and take into their own hands enforcement actions that, in my view, should be reserved to either the sheriff's department or the local police in that matter. Thank you all very much.
Perfect.
Very good.
All right. Going down the list here, I have Mr. Robert Coit. Hello, Robert. How you doing there?
I'm doing well. Commissioners, as a private citizen living at 7335 Yolanda Drive, Olympia, Washington, I would like to lend my voice in support of the District 5, District 9 merger. Okay. And then I'll wear a different hat later as a fire commission and answer your questions under 9B.
Okay. Thank you so much, Robert. Okay. The next person is Mr. Rick Stevens. Mr. Stevens? Hey, sir. How you doing? Come on up here.
Hello, Commissioners. I'm Rick Stevens, along with my coworkers from District 5 and my fire commissioner with District 9, resident of Summit Lake. I, too, am speaking in support of the merger for Districts 9 and 5, and will also speak later if needed under the Resource Stewardship section.
There's no the time to speak later.
Yeah, that's okay. He's offering.
If there's any questions later, we're here to answer those.
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, is there a Micah James Anderson? How you doing there, sir?
Mr. Shadow, yourself?
I'm all right, all right.
Excellent. Well, I'm not from around here. I'm actually appearing under contract for some various agents of Thurston, that live within Thurston County. And I'm here to offer you some information and an opportunity of, I'm providing you notice of default, an opportunity to cure of some of your agents. You all collectively are Thurston County, making a quorum. So I'm here to address the quorum of Thurston County, no one independently, but just to point out some discrepancies of what's been transpiring. First off, I've submitted a public records request, and I got information back from your county clerk as discovery documents. This is not discovery documents. This is a public records request. So I'll pass them off to this gentleman here and trust that they will be addressed. Second off, I'm here on behalf of Kelly Allen Scott, who was informed by his public defender, whom he fired, who has been recused, who recused himself, and the judge keeps reappointing him as counsel despite his right to counsel of his choice. And he was informed that if he files any documentation to his case, he'd be arrested, inhibiting his right to be heard in court, a basic due process right of law. So I'm here to provide the documentation that Kelly would like to have heard in court within the district court, which you all have jurisdiction over. So I'll get that off to the gentleman as well. The next item I have is Thurston County Clerk again sent back documentation which is clearly indicated does not contain, and she wanted a $240 fee to file a response. So that's pretty much extortion again for your right to be heard. This is inhibiting people's rights, a blatant violation of due process of law under the color of law, whichever policy you may proceed as to be law. Do you understand? And I hope you do. There's a copy for you. The last item I have is information in regards to the Torrens Act that I filed months ago, which your county clerk failed to note on the Torrens docket to begin with, which is pure negligence, which has led to severe damage to Mr. Frank Snars. And this is from Mary Hall, the auditor, and I believe I actually used the U.S. Postal Service, addressed the item to the county title register. And I believe she doesn't have the correct credentials to operate in the capacity of the register, so I will again hand this off, anticipating the correct parties will answer and take the needed procedures required by statute.
If you could just do me a small favor, hand it to him. We don't need to toss it, okay?
I placed it on the edge. That's all the document I have for today. I'm sure I'll see you next week. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Okay, that's all I have as far as those who signed up. Unless there's somebody who signed up and changed their mind and would like to come to the podium, or if anybody just won't have a itch to come to the podium and address the board in general. So, Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is number 2, the county manager's update. And I'll turn to County Manager Ramiro Chavez, and he'll brief us.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. I'd like to follow up on public testimony that you received on August 29th, and that was from Ms. Gwen Staples. She's a resident from the Single Tree Estates community in the Yale area of the county. She provided some testimony related to a property located on 18311 Tapadero Street, Southeast Yale, Washington, where she was making an argument that perhaps it was a dangerous, abandoned structure, and she requested the commissioners to take action in terms of condemning the property. In the documentation, she provided a little bit of history on this particular property, and I'd like to close the loop as to what has occurred and perhaps some of the next steps related to this property. So back in June 15, 2015, the county did issue order of abatement of a dangerous structure. On June 2013, we posted the same notice on that property following the current code procedures that we have in place. In April 4th, 2017, determined the case was closed because as a result of a field visit, the compliance officer determined the property was secured, and that is one of the remedies that we have allowed it to those property owners who have on those particular situations. Moving forward to the August 29th testimony, as a result of that, the compliance officer went out on September 7th to the this particular property and did confirm that it has a non-safe condition at this point. So follow-up inspection on September 9th confirmed the deterioration of the conditions of the particular property and determined that it was, again, a dangerous building. So the security that it was put in place back in 2015 has already been deteriorated. So the structure is in a dangerous condition. Following our county code, today, the compliance officer has provided a notice of abatement. Within the notice of abatement, the property owner has 20 days to appeal that particular notice to you. If that appeal doesn't occur, then the Board of County Commissioners have options as to how they can abate the property as they deem appropriate. I will stop right there because those would require some legal counsel as to the options that you may have if you get to that point. So I will touch base with you, whether it's an executive session or an open session, as to what the options you have when we get to the point after the 20 days appeal notice on that particular property.
Any comments or questions?
No. No, I don't. Thank you.
All right, anything else?
Nothing.
Okay, sure. Okay, so that brings us to item number 3, which is the consent items. And is there a motion for consent items A through G?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent items A through G.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent items A through G. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so that motion carries. The next item is number 4, which is departmental items. We're moving into departmental items, and we're starting off with the sheriff, and it's a sole source purchase for file-on queue. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Under Sheriff Tim Braniff to come to the podium and explain.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. How are you?
Pull your mic down just a tad. There you go.
Fine, thank you, sir.
There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you,
I have
sir.
a sense of humor.
Yeah, I do.
What we're asking for is a request for approval for a sole source purchase on the evidence on queue or evidence and property management system for the Thurston County Sheriff's Office. The evidence system that we currently use is responsible for just over 8,100 article items, individual items itself, and the majority of those are hand-entered or handwritten to process the evidence. A evidence on queue system would allow for barcoding the system to be entered once and tracked. A lot better than it, I should say, that it currently is, or I should say a lot easier for process improvement within the agency itself. It's a sole source requirement that is available for this. This would be purchased through savings that we have, and like I discussed last Friday, is other initiatives that we have inside the agency itself, or waiting until immediately after 2018 year starts. This was approved by the ITC in 2015, submitted twice before the 2 previous budget requests to the county commissioners, which was denied twice before. This would bring us into the 21st century of evidence collection and processing the evidence itself. There's 3 high liability issues within any law enforcement agency, 1 being evidence, 2 being whether it's SWAT or any kind of tactical response, and then the 3rd is narcotic enforcement. This being the highest priority within the agency itself to make sure that evidence is processed properly, it is audited properly, and also the coordination between the prosecutor's office and any kind of criminal issues that we have that currently go on before a case law. So we're asking for approval for that process, or for this sole source contract to be approved.
Great. Questions for the Undersheriff? Comments?
The funding source, I guess, is my question.
Once we have the funding for it, whether it's through the savings at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, we'll make that purchase within our budget ourselves.
Okay. Thank you.
I understand, Undersheriff, the paramount importance of this. Is this the first time this has come before this board, this commission?
Not this commission, no. It was in previous two previous budget packages in 2016 and for 2017. During the budget process in the fall of 2015 and the fall of 2016 for the following years, and both times it was didn't fall within the priority of the approval process.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
You bet. I have no questions. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the single source purchase from File on Q in the approximate amount of $63,898, including tax, for a property and evidence management system.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries. And so you have another request for a proposal of insurance awarding contract for food services.
So it's the request proposal issuance awarding the contract for food service for the Thurston County Corrections, along with the Thurston County Juvenile Detention, which all the food is processed and made right there in our jail.
Sure.
In I'll just a little history on this. We were charged, it was costing just over $3 per meal in 2011, 2012 when Sheriff Snaza took over. We sought out a contract with Consolidated Food Service, and in 2015 our cost of our meal was brought down to $1.34 per meal. Wow. And 2015 there was a slight increase to $1.38, and this proposal would be, well, right now it's $1.41 through August 25th of this year, and we're asking for the, once we have the approval here and the authority to review the RFP, once it's done, then we can sign off on the contract. And it's also with working with the Juvenile Detention Center to process and supply their meals.
Any questions, comments, curiosities? No? How about you?
No, I'm good.
Do you know what the total cost we pay for meals is?
So through August 25th is $330,862. Last year it was $498,400, or I'm sorry, that was the number of meals. It was 330,000 meals to date through August 25th of this year. I don't have the
That's,
exact number.
we can do the math.
Just multiply it out.
Yeah, I can figure that out. Thank you, Heidi.
There you go.
688,000
For last year. Yes.
for food.
For 330 meals.
Good.
No, that was for 400, almost 500,000 meals.
498,000.
Yeah,
498. Okay.
got it. Thank you, sir.
Sorry
Just
about
too shy
that.
of 500,000.
That's why Heidi's here.
I have nothing further.
Okay. Well, you answered my question.
I'd like to point out, thanks for your diligence in saving the taxpayers' money. Thank you very much.
Keep stretching it out as thin as we can get it.
But we're still feeding.
Absolutely. That's an important part of the health and wellness of the inmates, as well as the juvenile folks, and working with them, as well as Chief Toma in the jail. It's just making sure that, and we have other incentive programs that they can get other kinds of rewards, I guess, if you will, or some snacks and things like that. But those are all purchased on their own and through their own funds.
Great. Nothing further.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve the issuance of a request for proposal for food services for the Thurston County Corrections Facility and the Thurston County Juvenile Detention Center, and to authorize the sheriff or his designee and the juvenile court administrator each to execute a contract for food services for the Thurston County Corrections Facility with the successful bidder.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Undersheriff.
Bet.
Next item is number 5, which is Central Services, and it's the final acceptance of a project in Thurston County Mental Health Triage, and we have Martin Casey to give us some background.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Martin Casey, your Central Services Director. Today we are requesting final acceptance on Facilities Engineering Project 25 TRI, which is the Thurston Mason Mental Health Triage Facility. Big Rock Construction of Tumwater remodeled most of an existing 11,000 square foot county building, including electrical, mechanical, and life safety work to establish the mental health triage facility. The final approved budget was just under $2,320,000, and the final cost came in at $2,303,000. So we came in just a little under 1% under budget.
Yay.
Yay. This project began in November of 2015, and we actually completed construction work in July of 2016. The Triage Center opened in August of last year and has been successfully serving clients ever since. However, punch list and subcontractor submission response times resulted in an extended notice of completion process, is why we're here with you nearly a year later. These steps are necessary to comply with state regulatory requirements, and fortunately, last month we got notice from the state that those requirements have been satisfied, and they've authorized us to proceed to final acceptance. If I might, I'd also like to acknowledge that this was a very good project. Appreciated the leadership of Michael Crow, the project manager, and working with Big Rock Construction. We just got word last month that this has been awarded LEED Gold certification by the U.S. Green Building Code Council, and we were recognized for helping the local economy through the use of recycled materials, incorporating alternative transportation options, water efficiency, material, resource conservation, energy efficiency. This is actually only the third building that the county has constructed or remodeled to reach LEED Gold status, so we're very pleased to share that with you. Happy to answer any other questions.
No.
No, sir.
And can you point out Mr. Crow? And
Oh, I'm sorry.
who he is? Yeah.
Here, come on.
That's right. Come on up for a second. He's done more than that for the county. This guy is fabulous as far as facilities and construction and taking care of people. I have great respect for him. A lot of people speak highly of you, so thank you for your work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to accept Facilities Engineering Project number 25 TRI, Thurston Mason County Medical Health Triage, as complete, and authorize the Director of Central Services to release retainage of funds once all legal requirements have been met.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Facilities Engineering Project number 25 TRI, Thurston Mason County Mental Health Triage, as completed, and authorize the Director of Central Services to release the retainage of funds once all legal requirements have been met. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, so you have another one. It's the
I do.
advertisement request for qualifications, right?
Yes. Actually, at this time, I'll invite Brady Knowles, our project manager for this project, to come up and join me. This item is to request advertising request for qualifications for design services for the Thurston County Corrections Facility Flex Unit. And I just take that opportunity to remind the audience that the Thurston County Corrections Facility is formally known as the Accountability and Restitution Center, or ARC, and was renamed recently by the board. Yep. It was intended to be expanded over time, built in phases as the county's detentions needs changed, and it has reached and periodically exceeded its full occupancy. Last year, the board was briefed on several alternatives for addressing jail capacity needs. And I want to point out that the county's law and justice officials are continuing to explore strategies to manage the growth of our jail populations. But it also became clear that additional physical space was a necessary part of those solutions. The board determined to proceed with constructing the flex unit in the 2017 and 18 budget. This project is scoped to add approximately 20,000 square feet of additional space for 110 to 120 medium and high security inmate beds. The project must also complete design and improvements to the site's stormwater management systems. The county will finance the project, estimated at about $12.5 million, through bonds paid from existing real estate excise tax revenues. At the end of last month, the board asked us to prepare this agenda item. The proposed action before you today is only authorizing us to seek proposals from qualified firms to do the design work. We will return to you at the end of that competitive solicitation process in October for your decision on whether to proceed with awarding a contract to the selected firm. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on the flex
good.
unit? On the flex unit?
I'm good.
Okay, you good?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to authorize the Director of Central Services to advertise a request for qualifications to solicit firms to design the Thurston County Corrections Facility Flex Unit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Next, we have Public Health and Social Services. It's the release of the 2018-19 Mason Developmental Disabilities Community Project. And we have Jennifer Popkin-Chakin. Did I say it wrong?
Yes.
I did. There you go.
Jennifer Popchak-Hakim, Public Health and Social Services Developmental Disabilities Program. And this request is for approval to initiate the RFP process for services and supports for folks with developmental disabilities. This RFP provides up to $375,000 for Thurston County and $86,000 for Mason County, and this is for a 2-year period, 2018-2019. And typically, the services and supports have contributed to community inclusion, empowerment, advocacy, and assistance, and have included high school transition services as a part of this services. Some past examples of these services are the Senior Services, Protective Payee, Healthy Relationships Group, Parent to Parent, and Protect People First. It's an advocacy group. So those are typical things that we support via this RFP process. And these proposals will be reviewed by a 6-person volunteer panel made up of people that have a knowledge of the needs in our community, and the services that we're looking for in these proposals are for services that are not typically covered through the Medicaid services, for example, through the developmental disabilities waiver. So they'll be separate, and they won't be a duplication of things that folks can already receive. And they specifically were looking for the needs in our community and how we can address those and fill those gaps. So once the panel has reviewed the proposals, then we'll bring those proposals to the board here for your recommendations and approval.
Okay, great. Any comment? Concerns?
No, thank you.
Yep. About you.
Jennifer Popchak-Hakim, thank you very much for all the work you do. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve the release of the 2018-2019 Community Project Grants Request for Proposal for up to $375,000 in Thurston County millage revenue and up to $86,000 in Mason County millage revenue for the contract period of January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2019, and approve the request for proposal process as submitted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries, Jennifer.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you so much. Next, we have the Regional On-Site Sewage System Loan Program, and Art Story is from the Public Health. He's going to give us some background on that. Hello, Art.
Good afternoon. I'm Art Starry. I'm the Environmental Health Division Director for Thurston County Public Health and Social Services, and I'm here today to ask you to approve a memorandum of understanding between Thurston County and some other health departments and Department of Health and Department of Ecology, which basically establishes a regional low-interest loan program for repairing failing septic systems. This is an agreement that we actually have. We're already signed on to this agreement, but it's being updated, and this would allow it to be updated and replaced. And as you know, we've got a lot of septic systems in Thurston County. There's about 53,000 of them. And when they fail, they can be quite expensive to repair. And so what this does is this offers people who have to repair their failing systems an opportunity to get a low-interest loan administered by a third-party Craft 3, which is a special type of credit union. And they're able to get low-interest loans for up to 15 years to repair and replace the failing septic systems. We think this is a good opportunity. Again, it provides a need, or it fills the need within the community. It's something that our responsibilities are fairly straightforward. We help promote the program. When we have workshops and things like that, we tell people about it. We make referrals. We provide information to the loan entity when the systems have been repaired, so they can know where they stand when it comes to closing the loans and to finalizing agreements. But so it's pretty straightforward for us. It replaces actually a loan program that we had in place from 1993 to 2015. And that program was very successful. However, it was fairly expensive to administer. And this program actually fits some needs that program wasn't able to address. So for instance, when someone signs on to one of these loans, they can defer repayment until the property sells or transfers later on. When we had the loan program, the people needed to start making payments right away. So this gives them some options for folks who have limited incomes. And so it better provides some options that the previous program didn't have. So we're asking you to authorize to approve this agreement and to authorize our director to sign it. And then we're also asking that you authorize her to sign any updates that may happen that are consistent with the original agreement. What happens is this program is becoming popular enough that other counties are wanting to sign on to it. And each time that happens, the agreement needs to be updated. And so if you authorize her to sign those updates, we won't have, she can do that. We won't have to come back to you. So that's the thrust of the thing. And do you have any questions?
Any questions for her?
Is this also considered to be part of our plan as far as the state requires some type of a septic overview plan? So does this help us in that as far as managing for environmental correction of issues, water quality and such?
Yeah, yes, it does. One of the key tenets of the septic system management plan is to find failing septic systems and to help people repair them. And so having this loan program available makes it easier for folks who have that problem. When they have something that needs to be repaired, this gives them some options for doing that. So it does help implement the plan.
And then should they be in bad, dire condition, financial condition, they can defer payment until the property changes hands?
Yes, right? That's one of the things that happens with this program. That's a good feature.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, the previous program or agreement that this replaces exposed the county to liability, didn't it? To the point where we were like a co-signer on the loans?
So what happened, the loan program that ended a couple of years ago, it was something called the State Revolving Fund, and we received funds from the State Department of Ecology. And when we received those, one of the things that we had to do is bring an agreement back to you as the county commissioners that pledged repayment. So there was an obligation there. So we've never had an issue with anybody making loan payments back to us, but it did create a liability for the county in the case that someone defaulted. So we don't have to worry about that with this particular program.
That's been removed.
It's been removed.
Wonderful, thank you.
And my question is to you about the people who are interested in the process. So if you could just give a step 1, 2, 3 in a very short time frame of if someone's interested, what it needs to get started.
So probably the easiest thing to do is if they have access to computers is you look online. If you go into Google or something like that, if you type Thurston County Environmental Health, you'll click on that. You'll go to our webpage. You look over to the right column. There's something about the loan program. You can either click on a septic system link, or there's also other links that lead you to this loan program. That's probably the easiest way to do it. If someone's listening to this and they want to call me, they could do it at 360-867-2587, and I can point them in the right direction.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I move to accept the memorandum of agreement for the regional on-site sewage system loan program and authorize the Director of Thurston County Public Health and Social Services to sign the agreement and future amendments that are consistent with the original agreement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries, Art.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, sir. Next, we're going to move on to number 7, which is emergency services, and we have Mr. Kurt Harden is going to give us information on a public hearing notice, and so he'll speak to that.
Good afternoon. I'm coming before the board to request that they set a public hearing for review and public comment on the unmanned aircraft system, or UAS, county policy. That's the draft policy. Thurston County developed the draft policy, UAS policy, with stakeholder input that included emergency services, the Sheriff's Department, Public Works, Resource Stewardship, County Road Administration Board, and the Washington Department of Transportation. The purpose of the policy is to promote safe, efficient, and lawful operation of UAS vehicles by Thurston County agencies. This policy will ensure compliance with FAA regulations pertaining to UAS use by county government agencies. So I request that the board set a public hearing for Tuesday, October 17th at 3 p.m. to accept public comment regarding a draft unmanned aircraft or the UAS county policy prior to adoption.
Any comments, questions, or concerns from Mr. Harden?
And should we do this through efficiencies, we should be able to save quite a bit of money, really, if we don't have to send somebody out through the swamp to see where it's backed up or something, right? You can put this up in the air.
Correct.
Take a look, and law enforcement use as well.
Law enforcement use potentially through search and rescue, Public Works through looking at roads, and during the disaster response we could utilize it for looking at damages to public infrastructure. So it's got a lot of potential uses.
Thank you.
About you, sir?
And quite a bit of use now in the southeast as well, I would imagine.
Yes.
Post hurricane tragedies. No, I have no other questions.
All right. Is there a motion for the public hearing?
Mr. Chair, I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, October 17, 2017, at 3 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1 in Room 280, to accept and consider public comments regarding a draft unmanned aircraft system county policy prior to adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so your motion carries, Mr. Harden. And so how about a 7B? You have a request for qualifications to retain a contractor?
Correct. This is a request to for a solicitation for a contractor to assess in the development of a limited English proficiency plan. This is for the Homeland Security Region 3, which the county has the lead for. The plan is needed to due to recent changes in RCW 3852010, and it's required upon the renewal of the Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan, or the CEMP, for each jurisdiction in the Homeland Security Region. Homeland Security Region 3 is comprised of 5 counties, 6 cities, and 6 tribal nations. Each jurisdiction will meet the obligation by completing annexes to the regional plan, and the cost of the plan should not exceed $30,000. And once a contractor or vendor is selected, it is fully funded through the federal Homeland Security grant. So therefore, a request that the Board of County Commissioners here approve the issuance of a request for qualification to solicit for a contractor to assist in the development of a limited English proficiency plan.
All righty. Any questions? Nope. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the issuance of a request for qualifications to solicit for a contractor to assist in the development of a limited English proficiency plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so your motion carries.
Good. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, sir. Moving on to number 8, Public Works. Mr. Scott Davis is going to talk to us a little bit about a public hearing also for the 6-year Transportation Improvement Program.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Scott Davis. Can you raise your mic a little bit? There you go.
Sorry about that.
You bet.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Scott Davis with the Thurston County Public Works Department, the acting county engineer. Here to ask to set a public hearing for the 6-year Transportation Improvement Program for the 2018-2023 timeframe. Pursuant to RCW 3681-121, the county commissioners are required to adopt a transportation improvement program annually. This coming 6-year program consists of roughly 40 projects and totals about $30 million for a 6-year time frame. The program continues to be qualified and available financial support, meaning it's largely dependent on state and federal resources to complete some of the larger projects, and it doesn't necessarily represent all the transportation needs in the county either. The PROS program will be available to chambers of commerce and other interested communities. We also sent a copy to the local agencies. The documents available to anyone interested by contacting us directly at 360-867-2300, or they can also visit the Thurston County Public Works website, and it's available for download on there as well. We ask for a public hearing to be set on October 2nd, 2017 at 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter to provide an opportunity for the public to comment, and this request from the public hearing will meet the intents of RCW 3681-130. Thank you. Do you have any questions at all?
Any questions for the public here?
No, I don't.
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion for the TIP?
I move to set a public hearing for October 2nd, 2017 at 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard, at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, Washington, to accept and consider public comments and consider the proposed 6-year transportation improvement program for the calendar years 2018 through 2023.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries.
Thank you.
So next is to set another hearing for the application of Holiday Valley Water Association, and I have Mr. Craig Sessions. How you doing there, sir?
Good. How are you?
Tell us a little bit about the Holiday Valley Water Association.
I'm Craig Sisson with the Thurston County Public Works. I'm the senior right-of-way agent, and I'm here to ask that we set a public hearing to consider the application of the Holiday Valley Water Association for a non-exclusive franchise for water distribution system within Thurston County right-of-way. Pursuant to RCW 3655-040, we're required that a public hearing be held on franchise applications. The Holiday Valley Water Association has applied for a non-exclusive franchise to construct, operate, and maintain a water distribution system within Thurston County rights-of-way, known as Holiday Valley Court, Holiday Valley Drive, Forest Park Drive, Forest Park Court, Forest Park Street, and 42nd Avenue, all within the plat of the Holiday Valley Estates located in Thurston County. In accordance with RCW 3655-040, notice will be published in the official county newspaper and posted in 3 public places in the county seat. The non-exclusive franchise process for a water system is consistent with the county strategic plan and meets the external goal of environmental and sustainable resources to preserve and enhance our physical environment and natural resources. We ask that we set a public hearing for October 10th, 2017 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard, to consider the application of the Holiday Valley Water Association for a non-exclusive franchise to construct, operate, and maintain a water distribution system.
Comments? Questions?
No. Nope.
Okay, is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to set a public hearing for October 10, 2017 at 3 p.m. or as soon as thereafter as the matter may be heard, at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1 in Room 280, to consider the application of the Holiday Valley Water Association for a non-exclusive franchise to construct, operate, and maintain a water distribution system within Thurston County rights-of-way.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so your motion carries, Craig.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So next we have Mr. Steve Johnson, gives us background on a contract award for the design of fish passage structure. Super exciting for us.
Good afternoon.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. I am Steve Johnson, Senior Civil Engineer with Thurston County Public Works. And I'm here to talk about the culvert program, Fish Passage Culvert Program. Thurston County maintains nearly 3,000 culverts. Most of these culverts are for simply conveyance of stormwater. Think driveway culverts. However, there are many culverts that are also stream crossings or connect to other streams in such a way that they can provide habitat or access for fish, in this case primarily for salmon. The Public Works Fish Passage Enhancement Program was created to identify, prioritize, and replace county-owned fish passage barriers. This program is funded in 2017 and 18 using a portion of REIT, the Real Estate Excise Tax. The primary goal of this 2-year funding is to remove several high-priority fish passage barriers. In May of this year, Public Works received 14 submittals in response to a request for proposals to provide engineering services to support this program, specifically for designing identified culverts. 4 consultant teams were selected, including KPFF of Lacey. The other 3 consultants, one of them is OTAC elected to begin design under their on-call program, which we already have them under our on-call contract. They are already designing some culverts. The other 2 consultants that we've selected will be coming with their contracts in the next 2 weeks. KPFF has been assigned 3 culverts to design, including Wattle Creek Road at Pants Creek, 26th Avenue Northeast, east of Slater-Kinney Road, and 76th Avenue Northeast at Zangle Road. These culverts will be designed on a schedule to complete construction in 2018. That's a very tight time frame, so it is a very high priority for us to make sure the design is done in time to meet our construction windows for 2018. This project is consistent with the county's strategic plan, meeting the external goal of environment and sustainable resources, preserving and enhancing our physical environment and natural resources. Do you have any questions?
I do. No, go ahead.
This is actually going to help us as far as salmon recovery, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
And you said the timing is just right for getting the work done. Is that construction cycle talk, or is that fish spawning talk?
Construction cycle talk, but that is considering the fish use. There will be hydraulic project approval HPA permit necessary for these projects for us to do the work in the water. That limits our timing for construction so that it won't be done when there are fish present, salmon specifically. So we'll get the work done, then the fish can come in.
Yes. Way it's supposed to work. Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Just kind of confirm some things for me.
Yes.
As far as this cost, when I first thought this, it was maybe just me thinking $10,000 to go out there and pull out a culvert and rip it out, put a new one in. But it's not that, is it? It's
correct.
A whole new mindset behind it in terms of structure and resiliencies for the long-term impact. And I was wondering if you could just kind of elaborate on maybe the structure of one type of culvert
Sure.
that we might be looking at and why the cost is what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the primary concerns that we have to worry about in fish passage culverts specifically is the size of the structure crossing. The design is intended to simulate a stream flowing through that structure. If you have a stream that's 8 feet wide, you can't force that through a 3-foot culvert and still have it act as a stream. That will increase flow. It'll increase the velocity, and fish will not be able to use it. That will also have dynamic impacts downstream. It'll erode, cause head cutting, that kind of thing. So the intent behind these structures is to replace them with larger structures than are currently in place, which will allow that stream to flow through as if it's natural, and then the fish can use it as habitat and access. And come all the way through. So that the significantly larger structures are significantly more expensive.
That's right. But it's significantly better environmentally.
Correct.
That's right. Okay.
And this is paid for out of REIT funding.
Correct.
Real estate excise tax. And has there been collaboration with other organizations, entities, tribes?
We have coordinated with 2 of the local tribes. We've talked with a third one. We've met with Squaxin. We've met with Chehalis. We've spoken with the Nisqually tribe. All are in verbal support of this program. They support the intent behind this. We've met with Fish and Wildlife, specifically their design teams, to make sure that the culverts we're approaching are culverts that are actually fish barriers and salmon barriers specifically. We've also spoken with their permitting side to make sure that they know we're under a very tight time frame here, so they're going to streamline our process. They're going to be more than willing to meet with us on site. We've met with the Corps of Engineers as well, and they came down and visited several of the sites with us, which is a very unique circumstance. They are also in support of this project.
Then I did too.
You mentioned that this was REIT funding. It's my understanding that on occasion we do get federal dollars to deal with these type of issues, but in this particular case, the taxpayers here in Thurston County are paying this bill. Is that right?
Correct.
No, I don't have a question. You go ahead.
So, Steve, this is way cool stuff, and it's new to me, so I'm really liking it.
Absolutely.
When it's appropriate, would you contact Kelly Kennedy, my assistant, and set up a time when it's convenient where I can come out and see some of this happen?
Absolutely.
I would
Yes,
love
absolutely.
Or
Do
bring
you
it
wanna
back here and
see
put it up on the video.
Pre, during, post, or all three?
I'll go out and get a selfie or something.
Sounds good.
That's way cool.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I was hoping to get the picture of the first fish through there. That's what I was hoping to get.
I have a site ready for you, yes. Yes.
Okay.
You're so clever.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to award an architectural engineering services contract with KPFF Consulting Engineers for the design of 3 fish passage structures for the Fish Passage Enhancement Program, CRP number 63000, and authorize the Interim Director of Public Works to execute the contract for a total amount not to exceed $200,000.
Second.
Before I go any further, this is just 3 of about 10, is that correct?
Correct. This is 3 of 10, exactly.
Okay, cool. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay, another Public Works. Teresa Parsons, public hearing to consider amendments to Thurston County Code Section 15.12 concerning sewer.
Hi, I'm Teresa Parsons with Thurston County Public Works Utilities, and I'm here today to request that you set a public hearing for to consider a rate increase for our sewer and water utilities in Boston Harbor, Grand Mound, Tamashan, and Olympic View. And the original utility rate increase was proposed as part of the 2017-2018 budget process. Through the process, the code was amended to only reflect the 2017 rate increase, and so we're going back through the process to follow through to bring forth the 2018 rate increases. And the proposal is 10% for Boston Harbor and 5% for the remaining utilities. We've done public outreach and are in the process of finishing up with public outreach. We've notified through billing. We're going to have some open public meetings and this hearing. There's information on our website, and if anybody has questions, they can call me directly at 360-867-2330. Great.
Any questions for Teresa?
I do not, no.
When did we start the billing process? I mean, when we first got these installed, how long has that been?
How long have these utilities been in
Yes.
place? I don't have an exact date.
Just
but
roughly.
20 years.
And this is a scheduled increase that is not going to catch these folks by a surprise or anything there. It's a regular process that we use?
This specific has been proposed it was proposed in 2016 for the 2017-2018 budget cycles. There have been previous rate increases over those 20 years, okay. Not consistently. You've opened the door to something that will be coming forward to make something more consistent and something I'm hoping will be a little bit less. But continually it makes it easier for everybody and it makes it consistent for our budget process.
Kind of to cover the cost of doing business, cost of living, that type of thing?
Definitely the cost of everything goes up, and we do have some, the utilities are starting to age, and so we have some capital projects that are needed as well.
And so should anybody have any concerns, they should attend the public meeting and voice those concerns? Or?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Or they can call me or email me or come in.
You bet. Anything else? Is
Nope,
there a
that's
motion?
it.
A motion for Teresa?
I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, October 2nd, 2017 at 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter as a matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1 in Room 280 to accept and consider public comments on amendments to the Thurston County Code Section 15-12 concerning rates and charges and other minor changes for Grand Mound, Boston Harbor, Tamashan, Beverly Beach, and Olympic View.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so your motion carries, Teresa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to move to number 9, which is resource stewardship, and ask Mr. Robert Smith, the senior planner here, to come talk to us about an annexation in Lacey, specifically the Martin Way East. How you doing there, Robert?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Yeah, you
Good
got the
afternoon.
floor. Go ahead.
Okay, I have 2 items here today. The first concerns the proposed annexation of the city of Lacey. The Boundary Review Board, Thurston County Boundary Review Board has forwarded this application to us for review and comment, any concerns that we have. This proposed annexation totals 9 parcels at 6.71 acres, along with the adjacent right-of-way of Martin Way. It is located on the north side of Martin Way, just to the east of River Ridge Drive. Owners of 5 of these parcels petitioned the city of Lacey for this annexation. Excuse me, for this annexation. The county reviews annexations for any impacts to county land uses, traffic circulation, service area boundaries. So as part of the review, I routed this application to other departments, most notably the Sheriff's Office, Public Works, Emergency Communications, Water Resources. No one expressed any concerns regarding this annexation. The annexation is within Lacey's urban growth area, so according to the comprehensive plans, the area they can annex into. It is within Lacey's water and sewer service area, so any development application on these parcels would get or be required to hook up to the Lacey utilities. So with that, staff recommends that you not object to this proposed annexation.
Any questions or comments?
No.
No? Okay, is there a motion for the annexation?
Mr. Chair, I move to advise the City of Lacey and the Boundary Review Board that Thurston County does not oppose the proposed annexation of 6.71 acres into the City of Lacey.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries for you.
Okay, thank you.
You have another one here for Fire District number
Yes,
5 and number 9.
The second issue that we have is the proposed merger of fire districts. District number 5, Black Lake, proposes to merge into District 9, McLean Fire District. Commissioners of District 5 propose this merger. District 9 commissioners are accepting that as part of the review process that goes to the Boundary Review Board for the opportunity for any other jurisdiction to express concerns. So again, as part of this application review, I routed to other departments, and no one has expressed any concerns with this annexation. As you're aware that we do have some commissioners or fire commissioners in the audience. If you have questions about the history or the reason for this, I'm sure they can answer. But staff recommends that you not oppose the merger.
Just for clarification, this is not an annexation, but a merger. Is that
It's a
correct?
merger,
Yeah,
right.
I heard you say the word annexation
Oh, did
one
I?
time.
I'm sorry.
Okay, sure. Just want to make sure. Do you have any questions, comments?
No, I'd just like to make sure that we heard from Mr. Thompson, but are the other 2 fire commissioners in attendance just in agreement of this whole move?
The short answer is most definitely yes. We've been essentially.
You got to be on the mic.
Yeah, we
I'm
got to
sorry,
have you
Robert.
up at the mic if you're going.
Robert, thank you.
Thanks.
I don't want to move some of that away.
All right.
So for the record, my name is Robert Coit. I am Position 3, Fire Protection District 5. I want to thank Mark Thompson, the chair, for letting me take the lead on this. This is very important to us, very important to me personally and professionally. Some years ago, City of Tumwater annexed 1/3 of District 5, and it was the whole part, most important part of our taxing section. It's where most of the homes were. So District 5 was in a tough place. We would not have the tax support to be able to provide good protection to our district on our own, by ourselves. We worked with the City of Tumwater and came up with a 3-year mitigation plan, which gave us time to create and form a consolidated district with McLean, District 9. Would have loved to have merged at that time, but it really wasn't possible. Over the years, we have done everything but merge. We're basically just sealing the deal at this point in time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So this merge, or blending, if you will, is survival.
It was and is for District 5. It really cannot support itself without merging with another district, or at least a contractual consolidation. Over the years, we've done all the obvious things. There's one fire chief, not 2. There's currently a 6-commissioner board. We're worked together as one board. That will drop down to either 5 or 3. I can assure you that one commissioner has already written his letter of resignation should the merger go through. That might be me, because I'm trying to work myself out of a job. But for the citizens, the residents, it's had a lot of benefits. Together, we've actually been able to reduce our fire protection costs, improve our rating, if you will, which affects homeowner rates and insurance rates, and that's been a positive for us. We're a consolidated district in a lot of ways, basically act as one. Name's the same, McLean Black Lake. There's really no distinction from one district to the other, one boundary line from the other. Again, we're just sealing the deal.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move to advise Thurston County Fire Districts 5 and 9 and the Boundary Review Board that Thurston County does not oppose the proposed merger of District 5 into District 9.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries.
Aye.
Robert. There you go. You got it. You bet. Okay, so next is Mr. Andrew DeFabis, who's going to ask to set a public hearing on open space tax program. 2 applications, I think.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Andrew DeFabis, Resource Stewardship Department. I'm here today to request the board to set a public hearing for 2 open space tax program applications. The open space tax program is a tax incentive program for keeping land in an open space state. A property tax reduction results for enrolled properties because the land is valued at a percentage of the market value. The county currently operates 4 categories of current use designation under the open space tax program. The assessor operates a farm and agriculture designation and a designated forest land designation, and the board operates a timberland and an open space designation, which covers a wide variety of resources. In 2017, there are 2 applications for the board's open space current use designation. Both are applying to reclassify from the assessor's farm and agricultural designation. The first is the Jordan Trust property, 7.99 acres in northwestern Thurston County, zoned Rural Residential Resource 1/5. It is proposed to receive a 50% tax reduction on the land enrolled in the program. The Patterson property is the second one, 18.54 acres located in central Thurston County and also zoned 1/5. It is also proposed to receive a 50% reduction on the land enrolled in the program. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on the applications on July 19th and subsequently recommended approval of both applications. The board was briefed on these applications on August 30th. So a notice of the public hearing, if scheduled, would be mailed to landowners within 500 feet of the properties and with instructions on how to comment on the applications. The notice would also be published in the newspaper of record. So with that, staff requests that the board set a public hearing for Tuesday, October 10th, 2017 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to accept and consider public comment on the Jordan Trust and Patterson open space applications. That concludes my remarks.
Comments, questions?
No.
So a couple questions. Last year, how many were in open space and approved?
We had 9 applications for the board's open space, and they were all approved.
And this year we have just 2.
This year we've got 2.
Do you anticipate any more?
I anticipate that each year we'll continue to get more, but this is all that we have for this year. We process them in a batch format, meaning that the 2 that we're working on now are all that we'll bring forward for 2017. Anyone who comes in to apply between now to the end of the year, we would do next year.
2018?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Is there a motion?
Yes. Have we already deconflicted all these Tuesdays in October? I've not seen so many public hearings. Mr. Chair, I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, October 10, 2017, at 3 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, in Room 280, to accept and consider public comment on the Jordan Trust and Paterson Open Space Tax Program applications.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the acceptance of U.S. Fish and Wildlife funds, and Christina Chapeau is going to talk to us a little bit about that.
Christina Chapeau, Associate Planner with Resource Stewardship. I'm here to request the board direct Authorize the Director of Resource Stewardship to accept additional grant funding from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in the amount of $175,069.50.
Can you state the number again for me?
$157,069.50.
Thank you so much.
For the continued support of a half-time public information officer and a full-time biologist. These two positions support the interim permitting process and the habitat conservation plan process. This funding, this additional fiscal support is anticipated to extend the current staff through December of 2018.
Great. Any questions of Christina?
No.
No? How about you?
No.
No. Is there a motion for it?
I move to authorize the Director of Resource Stewardship to accept additional grant funding, grant number F17AP00386, from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in the amount of $157,069.50 for continued support of a half-time public information officer and full-time biologist to December 31st, 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So your motion carries. Thank you, Christine. So now we're at number 10, which is the Commissioner County Manager's items, and this is where the commissioners are can speak to anything they have on their mind or saw in public or been out about in the community or any of the committees they sit on. So I'll just ask Commissioner Edwards if he is anything he wants to talk about.
No, I'm ready to move on.
Okay. How about you?
I just wanted to thank staff and everybody for the Deschutes Falls Park opening ceremony that I attended. That was on September 1st. It was absolutely outstanding, and it's a beautiful park. And I also attended the Tenino Football Stadium ribbon cutting. They had a brand new stadium with turf put in, and it's black turf. And I thought that's going to be kind of ugly and weird, but no, it was actually beautiful. It's very, very nice, black and red, which is the color of the Tenino Beavers. And I attended the Seeds of Change celebration at Juvenile Detention Center, the garden, where they're growing vegetables and fruit and such in abundance to take to the food banks. And it's having a life-changing, life-altering experience on the youth in detention. It's phenomenal. And then I was the guest speaker at the American Legion annual membership in Lacey. That was very heartwarming. It was a great, and Commissioner Edwards was there. Great group of people, veterans and families alike, all together. Other than that, no, I'm done.
All righty. I'll turn to the county manager and see if he has anything to say.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners. I'm going to walk you through to the upcoming calendar for the next week. And the appointments that I will mention to you is that at least 2 commissioners will be present, and that you may have additional appointments in your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Starting at 3:30 in the afternoon today, you will have the regular Board of Health. At 5:30 in the afternoon today, you will have a public hearing on the ordinance to renew the Henderson operations and management operations and maintenance proposal, and that related to the fees associated with that particular plan. Wednesday, September 13, at 7:45 in the morning, you have breakfast related to the Heroes for Housing, and that is located at the South Puget Sound Community College campus on 6th Avenue at Lacey. At 1:30 in the afternoon, you will have a public hearing follow-up regarding the public hearing you will hear today at 5:30 on the Henderson operations and maintenance rate increases. And at 2 in the afternoon tomorrow, you will have an update on the flood hazard mitigation plan, and staff will walk you through as to the next steps related to that particular plan. 2:30 in the afternoon, you will have an executive session, and it is related to litigation, potential litigation, and a risk manager will come and brief you on the particulars of that matters. At 4 in the afternoon tomorrow, you will have an invitation from Panorama City, and that's to all the regional leaders. They will get together on that particular location. Thursday, September 14, at 9 in the morning, you will have your regular update from Superior Court. At 10 in the morning on Thursday, September 14, you'll have a commissioner's check-in, and I will develop an agenda that will be posted 24 hours in advance. At noon on Thursday, September 14, you will have the opportunity to have a luncheon with your appointed directors. Moving on to Friday, September 15, at 9 in the morning, you will have Commissioner Hutchins and Commissioner Blake will review the agenda for the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization, as the BHO as we know it. Monday, September 18 at 3 in the afternoon, you will have the Thurston Thrives Coordinating Council meeting, and that will go to 5 o'clock. And then we'll come back here on Tuesday, September 19 for another board meeting. Thank you.
You bet. All righty. Is there any other comments or questions?
No, sir.
No. Robin, anything? No. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn for today?
I move to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting of September 12, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so we are adjourned.